Almost timed that right. We're getting there. That time I was a little slow out the gate.
You gotta fade that puppy out.
Yeah. Well, listen, David, I'm on the free program, but then I'll give you all the bells and whistles. I'll figure it out. Anywho, buddies, welcome back. We're a few days tardy on our normal scheduled rotation of the Surface Noise program, but Concert Buddy, welcoming you back. There's a reason for our petulance, and that's part of our panel today. We're some of us are out of town, some of us are in town. Went to the Austin Record Convention, and we're going to talk about that, maybe show some goodies, all that kind of good stuff. Everyone on screen currently was at the convention. That's part of our process. So you might not, I know Arnaldo is in the gallery, so I didn't want him to think we slide in. I was just kind of being specific, but I also know he's recovering from COVID vaccine, so I hope you're feeling better. So anyway, joining me for this presentation, our returning champion, David Bianco.
Hello, everybody.
Sound, Texas Audio Excursion. David, how are you doing this evening?
Great to meet everybody. Get to see you guys made it safely.
Yeah, long way back.
Yeah, long bus ride.
And our aspiring champion, my roommate for a couple nights, and then Jason's roommate for a night, sharing the love. He's the man of many names, but he's only brought two to the table today. One of the sweetest guys in the vinyl community. That's Jose Moreno. ¿Qué pasa?
¿Qué onda? All good.
Awesome. And then, new to the record show scene, is that accurate? Louis Golden, was this your first bonanza in a record show environment?
No, I went to another one, and it was equally as boring.
Oh, man.
Spoiler alert.
Wow. Come on. We got to work up to that. We got to work up to the climax.
I did go to the Dallas one, and it was funny because all the same people were there.
It's usually how those roll. Yeah. You see a lot of the same faces.
Yeah.
Then, man of the moment, the man in the mirror. Remember that song? Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. Big day from our last member of the dais. He's fighting some demons, fighting some dragons, spitting some hot takes and some top truths. Jason Rojas, good evening.
Yeah, I need to learn more about what happened.
He's in a black hole. There's a vortex behind him there.
Two words, right? It was a VC onslaught this morning.
Well, listen, I mean, you single-handedly extended that program 2 additional hours. I mean, my bladder was struggling, and I didn't watch the whole thing. I don't know, serendipitously just turned it on a few minutes before you just broke through the door. You broke the walls down.
Was there anything good taken away from it? Like, what happened? That's what I want to know.
If you highlight Jason Arsenault's comment, please, Chance.
Oh, hang on one second.
Describe it to Louis right there.
All right, let me find the Arsenal man. Oh, here we go. Jason R is the king of the hot takes.
Well,
for a day, sure. We're gonna get you your own custom oven mitt in no time, Jason. Just stay tuned. We'll work with the home office.
What were the hot takes?
Wow. How many can I count here? Jeez. Should we go into this, or should we?
Yeah, why don't we
have to
topic at hand, and then we'll come back to that.
Then we'll come back.
We'll see how long we go. But I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about our friend in absentia, Harry B.
Hey, Harry.
Harry joining the gallery. I know there's a Seahawks game on, so I don't fault you for choosing better programming than this supple little live stream. But anywho, we got a lot of folks already joining the gallery. I sincerely appreciate it. My man Chauncey Phillips, bringing it. Oh, Arnaldo. No, Arnaldo, you did not get shunned. I'm just letting you know. If you would join Austin, we would keep your seat up here. Trust me, we'd be all about it.
Is he supposed to be up here? But he
no. If anything, I was just trying to keep it an Austin focused talk. But I'll throw out the vine later if we want to talk about the record store day list and so forth. So we do have one warm seat. It's a hot seat. We need Jason to have his own space right now to cool down from all the hot takes earlier. We gotta simmer down pot roast. All right. Well, anyway, topic at hand: Austin Record Convention. I'll just start with Louis. We'll just start with you because you came toward the end of the early bird day, and you did do early bird, kind of took it in, but I noticed you didn't take any records out. What was your overall impression of the time you were there?
Well, it's just like it reinforces my idea that most of the time I'm interested in hearing about, listening to, and deciding I like new music, even if it's older, new to me. And so digging for treasures like that is it's a polar opposite of what most of the VC does. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are looking for a lot of different things for a lot of different reasons, whereas I'm mostly focused on the fact that vinyl is physical and an investment and something I have to deal with helps me with listening to more music. And I've really, doubled down on that. Like, I'm still growing my collection and all, but it's all like stuff that I'll hear about from other VC channels and then check out and be like, oh my God, I do need to have this. Or I'm doing a really deep dive on a genre and trying to learn about it and find new stuff. So digging that way is important. But I just, there wasn't enough time for me to really make a dent, and I don't have enough knowledge anyway.
No, I hear you. David, I'm sure you've been to this show several times. Have you lost count, or is it?
I don't have count.
Well, tell us about your experience, because you had a unique perspective in the sense that you not only brought your friend Brad with you, but then you were also helping a shop that we'd like to elevate in the community, and that's Armando, not Arnaldo. I'm being very intentional. I'm being very smart about this. Armando, who has a shop in Waco called Vintage Mio.
Correct.
Anyway, you were kind of moonlighting, because you were there to shop and score some things, but then you're also there to support Armando in his efforts. So tell us about it.
Yeah. So it's big, but I've seen it bigger, frankly, but it was well attended, and the usual pattern of traffic happened. Early bird's a great idea because you get in there early to pick out the cherry stuff.
Less people.
Less people. I was just going to say, and you don't get claustrophobic, because Saturday for sure got really busy after 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, my perspective also was a little different, because I also came with a list from some people I know in the VC who were looking for records.
Novice Nick, where are you?
Yeah, he was one. He was one. So I probably, on average, I think I scored more records for other people than myself, which is fine, because, that's part of what this is all about. So, there were some really interesting anecdotes I'll talk about as we go through that happened. But overall, I think for me, these shows to me are newer now because of the interaction with other people in the VC, people walking up to you and saying, "Hey, I've been watching your videos for a year." Weird stuff happens like that.
David, did you sign any autographs?
No,
I'm completely playing. That's a complete rip.
Well, they wouldn't pay $10. That was the real problem. But just kidding.
Fair enough.
But it was really, but meeting the people was really the highlight for me, the show. Had my friend Brad there and helping him score he scored a Led Zepp 3 classic records, for example. I mean, good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Jason, your approach was very intentional. And I mean that because after day one, you had 2 records, 2 45s, if my count's correct?
2 albums and 2 45s.
Okay, 2 albums and 2 45s. Was that a reflection just of you being selective and not being too impatient, or was that just a reflection of a weak selection by the vendors?
Maybe both in a way.
Maybe both. I'm asking. I asked the question.
The thing is, it's hard for me to be finding amazing stuff, but I did find one cool thing at the end of day one, but that was a surprise thing. I wasn't, I didn't have a list, right? I just go there, have fun. More important, I wanted to meet everybody, right? And I did meet Chance and Jose beforehand. The night before, we had some burgers and fries and milkshake, so.
It was It was a happy days experience. We had the burgers and shakes and fries and a couple of laughs. No Fonzie though. No Fonzie. Fonzie was.
Right. I mean, I was there just to meet everybody. You know, the records be damned. You know, I was there to hang out, meet some people. You know, have some fun. You know, sometimes. You know,
Arnold, Jason is a savvy shopper, and he would know because you guys have been record shopping before. So
yes.
And then there was only one. My guy, my roomie, mi hermano mayor, Jose.
¿Qué onda?
What was your high level? What did you think of the show? Tell us how you got there. Tell us about you arguably having the best roommate of all time, and what? How did you find? Oh, the best roommate not named Jason Rojas. But no, overall impressions of the show.
I enjoyed it a lot. I think that the experience was pretty good. My only problem with the actual show was that I found some great stuff. I would grade it from like 1 to 10. I would grade it like 6.5, 7, perhaps. I don't think that's a bad thing per se. It's just that, for example, I didn't got as much records as I would have wanted, but there were a lot of records that I really, really wanted. And once I look at the record itself, there was really scratch, and that happened to me a lot of times. So that's something that really bummed me out the first day that I ran. The first day I ran, we were like 4th in line, right? Like 5th, probably 6th in line. And I ran all the way to the end thinking that was the best idea possible. And it turned out to be one of the worst decisions. And
hang on, but you're leaving out one important detail. You brought your trusty record case. So you were sprinting. You were sprinting there. Oh, there it is. A guest appearance. And you were sprinting.
Yeah.
And you did. I didn't see you for several hours. Once we walked through those doors, it was like we didn't know each other for a couple hours.
Well, to be honest, it's not that big of a room. It is pretty big, but I didn't see anybody at all till probably when we left to eat, right? Because everybody was like, oh, I saw Patrick over here. Oh, I saw Harry over here. And I had only seen you, Jason the night before. David I saw in the lobby, right? Armando was there, and then some guys we met at end of an year, the previous day, if I'm not, and that was it. And then, but I enjoyed it a lot. I think that it could have been an 8, but that we didn't go on Sunday. I think the first day I was very overwhelmed because it was so much to see that I didn't want to miss out. And the second day, I think I did see like pretty much everything. Pretty much 80% of the crates were dig. And but overall, I think it was pretty good. Some gems that I saw, unfortunately, were scratched or a little overpriced, like 30% overpriced, most of them. But overall, I think most people were like ready to make a deal right from the get-go.
Yep.
I didn't struggle. There was a guy the one that I bought most records from, I would tell him like, 2 records, he had it for $60 bucks, 61 one. And he brought them down to 35, like the first question. Hey, will you take 35? Yes.
So no back and forth. You laid on that Moreno charm, and you just got him down.
Yeah.
Well, Jose, since you did throw a rating out there, 6.5. We've got a couple takes. First of all, let's get to the. Mazzy says you need to up that to an 8 next time. But more importantly, I think our Arnaldo. I don't want to slip up because I got 2 A's on my mind right now. Arnaldo has a question. When you rate a record show, what goes into the rating? The rarity of the record finds or the pricing?
Well, I'll give you like 3 points. First of all, I saw like very standard that people call grails. I saw a lot of that. Not like extremely difficult to find records. I didn't see any records that I was like floored to see, like, oh my God, I've never seen that before.
Hang on, I'm going to cut you off,
You
Jose,
know?
because before we walked in, you shared a picture with me.
Well, yeah.
And you said you even shared it, and I took a photo of myself. There's one record, John Cale.
Yeah,
If you see this, let me know. And what did you find?
Yeah, it's this one.
Exactly. Hang on, I'll make you big. Hold, please. Let's go.
But well, so my idea was that I was going to try to look for 2 specific titles. One was this one, and then the other one was this one. Let me take it out of the sleeve so it doesn't.
Don't offend Mazzy. He doesn't like the glaring of this.
Yeah. So this is Nico Desert, or that I love a lot. It's pretty much in mint condition. Those were one of the most popular 2 titles that I really wanted, that I knew that probably I was not going to find. And again, I went all the way to the end of the show, and I went to everybody, asked them those 2 things before I dig anything. And it wasn't until the very beginning of the fair that somebody had them. So it was a horrible tragedy, because it was literally the first row, like within the first 10 people that had him.
The best boots, they pay a little premium usually to get those best boots. So just as a learning strategy.
Yeah, I figured that out. To be honest, the last line where all the shirts were, it was cool, but some really were like. So for my rating, for example, I saw way too many 13th floor elevators. No one had the mono. Everybody had the stereo. The prices were so crazily like. I have never seen so many butcher covers in my life. I'm not a big Beatles fan, so to be honest, I had never had a butcher cover in my hands. But like people would, because it was the early bird, everybody was like, "You want to see it?" And I was like, "Have it here," and I was like, "Oh, that's Ringo's V-neck. All right, I see it. It's real," and I'll give it back. Yeah, because there was a Beatle expert at the end.
Yeah, I don't play with those Beatle experts. They'll suck your. They suck your energy. They're like energy vampires.
He had 5 butcher covers, and they were all up above $1,000, and some have like the cheapest one that I saw, and it was pretty good condition. When it was like a second state, it was $600.
Yeah, I remember.
So if that one was not selling, I don't think any of the other was sold. The 13th floor elevator was all over the place, and everybody saw the RL Led Zeppelin 2. It was everywhere.
It was everywhere. It was like a bad rash.
Some people had it at $400. Some people had it at like $300 VG condition. And then at the second day, I pointed out to Patrick, somebody had it for $60. And he went over, he saw the record. He told me something that I didn't understand. He said that it looked like it had been badly flattened,
Oh no.
Yeah. And he was like, "Nah, it's not worth it." And to be honest, it's not a record that I'm like seeking out. So I didn't buy it. But that was the different pricing. So if they had it for like almost $500 and then $60, the same record, almost at the same condition. Because that record is always like VG plus. It's never going to be near mint.
Right.
Probably a near mint one could go like $400. Like, but if in the same room people have it at the same condition as you, and it's $60, that's a little embarrassing. Buckingham Nicks all over the place.
Very common.
Yeah. 150 to like $70-$60.
Yeah, I saw one for 60. Yep.
And none were in good condition because I looked at all of them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And
hear that, Nick? Like, I looked at all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there was a guy that had like the huge wall next to the actual wall.
Yes.
Like the side.
He's a good vendor. I buy from that guy every year. Yeah. He's got a lot of stuff.
That was probably one of the better things, but it was horrible because none of them make sense. You would have like $5 records next to a one that was like 100, next to one that was 30, 40, 60. It was really bizarre.
And my one critique of that vendor, and I buy from him, he has a really great curation. His bins are so tight. Like it makes you not want to look. So I pull, and I don't know if this is rude or bad manners, but I just start moving stacks because it's the only way you can do that unless you have like
but because it didn't make any sense. It was not like rock, jazz.
No, it's all over. Yeah, that's it's a criticism too.
And he had avant-garde classical music, and in the same band he had like Coldplay and and like Katy Perry reissues, so it was
Jermaine Jackson,
yeah. So my critique for the 6.57 is that I saw a lot of like normal high-end seek out records, discogs going for the most bizarre different type of prices,
fluctuation, sure.
And again, I didn't saw anything that I was like completely like floored, like, oh my god, I have never seen this in my life.
Well, we talked about this too, Jose, is that, and you guys feel free to chime in, but one of the best feelings you can have, record store, is when you're flipping through and you go, oh, I call it the oh shit moment, but I think there's degrees, right? There's like the oh shit where you're like, you can't believe you found this. Then there's the like, oh, like, like, oh, this is cool. Then that makes you want to take it out and look at it. So I had more O's. This sounds very bizarre. I had more O moments, but I didn't have any oh shit moments. So I can appreciate you saying it.
I did found, for example, if everybody wants to start showing record.
Well, hang on. Let's hit a couple other things real quick, because one thing, and we were talking about this a little bit beforehand. So the show has a great idea.
Didn't work for me.
Yeah, a great idea, in that they have a hotline number that you can text a list of what you're looking for. Single titles, a list, extended list, what have you. And I honestly, I'm 0 for 3. Last year I got a couple of nibbles, but all three were just, one was a CD, it wasn't a vinyl. One was a second pressing, not a first pressing. One was a mess up anyway. How did you guys try this, and did you guys have any success or any near misses on this? David, I see you nodding your head.
Yeah, I did about 15 and I got one hit.
No, I tried it. I sent like 20 records and nobody replied ever. So yeah.
Well, Jason, do you have a phone that has non-US code?
No, but I got the reply. So you would send it in the text and they would like greet you, right? Mm-hmm. And then you would send the list. So
yeah, but a system is communicating on those, but if a vendor has to do a return, then he would get hit with charges, I would think. No, okay.
No. But it was beyond that. I mean, even I had a list, and even Stunty had sent me a 65 or 75. I can't remember. 75 title list that I would give to people to check, and no one had anything. Well, actually, one of those records was the Nico one, but you're going
to send them a list of 65. They're not going to look at it.
No. Everybody saw it, and nobody had it because, for example, the second day, I was talking with Stunty on the phone, and a guy, without even seeing who I was talking to, he said, "Are you talking to Stunt Rock Confusion?"
Don't say that out loud. Now he's gonna get a big head. Come on.
Yeah, no. Well, because he was, and I was like, yeah, no, but he knew him because he's also a seller in Den Bosch. So he has sold him before, and he watches the show and everything. So it was pretty interesting, and he had a bunch of records, but I think he was really, really, really waiting for that third day, because again, everything was like $30 more expensive than it should be.
Sure.
So he told me like on Sunday everything's gonna be like $30 less. So it's just
everything that's left.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Let's talk before we talk about what we pulled, because that's what the people want to look. They want to see. They want to see what we brought back, so they can ooh and ah or make fun of us. But let's talk, David. You touched on it kind of at the beginning, and this was different for me, for probably most of us, in the sense that we had like the unofficial kind of meetups. We knew a lot of the people in the vinyl community, two-dimensionally, as some will say. And so it was really, for me, it was a great experience in the sense that I got to meet all you guys, got to spend time with you. And honestly, like we talked records a little bit, but it was more of observations from the show and things we were doing. And it was more of, you know, like Jose, for example. Jose was talking about one particular.
A lot of things.
Yeah, you're talking about a lot of things, actually. But in particular, you're talking about a Butthole Surfers record that I was looking for, and couldn't find it on my own. I found a reissue on one end of the building. So when I found you the second day, kind of like, hey, where was that at? And Jose, being a great guy, literally, he shepherded me. He walked me through the mountain of people. He walked me through with that trusty little case. He was smacking people in the face with it. We were not to be denied. And so he took me to a vendor, and this vendor just so happened to have a pretty rare piece, which I'll show here in a second. So anyway, hats off to Jose, but I never had that before. And I think last year, if memory serves, I had mentioned I was going to the Austin show, and David, I think was at that time was the only person who was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go too. And didn't work out. But to go from last year where like maybe I'd meet up one person, maybe to met up with all of you. I mean, we had 10 people, I think it was. And then Eddie Perez was there. He was there in the early bird. It was almost like a relay. Right. Eddie Perez was there at the beginning of the Friday, and then he left. And literally within like 2 minutes, Louis showed up. So it was a great turnout. It was great to meet everybody, and everybody was pretty cool. I know there's a lot of conversation about, you know, how was the show, how was meeting everybody. So speaking for myself, that was probably the highlight of the show. I got some nice records about them, but it was really cool to not only meet like-minded people, but nice people, right? And then there's Jason, you know, the most hated man in the VC.
Oh,
no. You could feel the flames singeing. Hang on. What
there he is. He's
is this something from the show?
Most hated buys the crappiest records. Look at this.
James Dean on conga drums. I didn't even know something like this existed.
I thought he was comparing James Dean on conga drums to his morning show display this morning. Okay.
That could be it too. Like as he talks and relaxes with friends. That was me on the Rachel's.
Oh yeah.
Morning.
Limited collectible. What does it say?
I like how like it could be James Dean on here. I mean,
it also could be Court Howard. I mean, you can't really tell. It's not really a great picture. It could be Ron Howard's brother. I'm not.
Yeah, it literally looks like anyone could be that guy in the photo. It's like blurry. Yeah, all right. I really enjoyed meeting everybody. Everybody was pretty much how we are, I guess, here in the stream. You know.
Sure.
I really enjoy talking with everybody. I enjoy the food. I ate good. I put a gun on Jason's head, and he went with me to Domino's Pizza.
I was gonna ask, did you guys go to Domino's? Because Jose was with me the first couple nights, and then we did a handoff. We had a baby Jessica moment where I was leaving because I was leaving on Saturday, and then we had to get Jose lodging. And so Jason was kind enough to offer his abode. And actually, that leads me to a question because I didn't get to ask you. I'll just ask you guys now. How did you manage? Because Jason, you also had a guest in. You had the dubious, the illustrious Nathaniel Mars staying with you. How did you navigate Jose's ample suitcase situation in your vehicle, which is really designed for small children and potentially people with vertical challenge, aka a two-seater.
I didn't. Like Jose had to Uber to my place.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking like next time, like if we ever meet up again for the next Austin show, I can put up with Louis, but again, maybe we'll put Jose in the trunk, Louis on the roof of my car, and then Nate, if he comes, we'll just put him, you know.
Hey, listen, I'll ride with you too. Remember Teen Wolf, for the guy who rode on the top of the van? I'd be all about that. I don't know if we could do the highways, but it'd be a lot of fun just recreating that scene from an amazing movie.
Yeah.
No, I Ubered to Jason's, and Chance got to know one of my interesting facts is that I fell asleep like this on the car. I fall asleep.
Some call it narcolepsy.
I call it narcolepsy.
It is.
It is narcolepsy.
I don't know if it is, but it probably is.
Doesn't happen when you're driving, does it?
it is something. I don't know what it is, but it's like immediately when I'm in cars, like I like.
Now, this is not Jose sleeping. I want to be very clear. This image was actually from the dining establishment we went to Friday evening.
This is a classy place that
dining?
Chance had us go to. This
The dining experience.
Yeah, this was a food truck. So we went to
food truck at a picnic table.
Yeah. Hey, listen, it worked out. All right, I can't help it. But we went to this place to have some libations, and this food truck, clearly ripping off the intellectual property of the movie Tommy Boy, was slinging some overpriced chicken wings and sides. And Louis, did you chip a tooth on one of the Brontosaurus chicken fingers?
No, but very nearly. I had to pay extra for the cement coating on the outside of them.
Wow, was it like double fried or something?
I think that it was just shit.
It was actually, I think, breaded in the Colonel's original herbs and spices in 1966.
Oh, all right. The celebrating.
Their website strong-armed me into tipping and everything. It was just...
Oh, don't even get me started on the flip the tip situation. I would probably lose subscribers. People knew how I really felt.
Like they have it, the glass is all closed in the food truck. It's not like you walk up to a food truck and you say, hey, can I have some tenders, right? They have this huge sign that says, we will not open these windows. Scan this QR code, and then we'll send you a text message when we fucking feel like it.
Oh, wow.
That's what. And I was like, okay, cool, fine, whatever, COVID, whatever. So do that. And then they don't give you an option, an easy option. I'm sure there is one, but they don't give you an option not to tip.
See the chat.
So
if somebody asks me something, let me know because I can't see the chat. I'm on the phone. All right.
Oh, no worries, Jose. Well,
all right. Not that anybody wants to talk to me, but
well, let's get to a couple quick questions and then we'll talk about what we pulled from the show. So the first, I hid this one. Vinyl Piper Chris asked the question, and I'm sure it's on the minds of several. Who drank the most?
I think
easily me, without a doubt.
Well, we're talking. Yeah. We'll be clear. Louis had a mild day at the Diet Coke farm. Louis was at about 18 Diet Coke.
It's about one every 6 or 7 minutes.
That's accurate. I've seen it. I've lived it. I've seen it. No, I don't think anybody. I mean, Jose turned me on to Jose. What was the name of that brewery? They had the cider.
East Austin East Ciders.
Austin East Cider or something. And when somebody
pretty good, right?
Yeah, it was really good. When somebody recommends a new drink, it's usually like, okay, sure. But Jose was spot on. These ciders, they were very delicious.
I couldn't find any gluten-free beers this time, so I always drink that. They have a lot of different flavors. Just the dry one, that's the one that I normally drink. But it's pretty good. I mean,
honestly, I think we probably did the most drinking that first night when we went to that one establishment that closed like 8 minutes after we got there. We met up at
11. Yeah, so such a weird.
So we got a couple Sixers and went back to our hotel and sat outside, just kind of had some great conversation. We got to see the Mars Man unmasked, which was still a new experience. So that was a lot of fun.
Which was deleted from my memory for like Men in Black, right? Like
that's funny.
All right. So next question, Mazzy's asking, when does the big video post? Well, for me, I only took some stock footage. I was actually more focused on digging and then the social aspect.
Yeah.
So David, I know you did a quick little video. Did anybody else get any other footage that's going to make it into a video into the YouTube stratosphere? I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong.
I just dropped the one before the show of what I got, so I put that one up.
I recorded with the intention of perhaps maybe could one day make a video of it.
Perhaps maybe one day.
Yes. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll just
so many factors to consider, really.
So I'll just cut this clip and paste it on my non-existent.
I want to give a shout out to Jazz Bums Chris, who was invited on the mythical Facebook page, but I think only 2 people even saw the Facebook page, so it really did work out as well as we thought. But at least he was in the same state. I heard that. I knew that I had heard rumblings of a 8-hour Cal Ripken level jazz bum stream on Friday, and so I'm sure that there was a lot of stories coming out of that.
Yeah. Well,
and Malia was there. I haven't heard her mentioned, but
Malia was there. I'm sorry. Yeah, Malia was there. She and Patrick was there. I think we mentioned him in passing.
Harry.
Yeah, and Harry.
And Eddie Perez.
And Eddie.
Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah, but
and we met Tencent, who was selling at the show.
Cindy,
Cindy,
yeah. I bought some stuff from her.
Yeah. I like that when I was walking, she said, "Hi, Jose," and I was like, "Hey." And
that's what she did to me too. I thought I was hearing things, and I walked by, and "Hey, concert buddy," and then I remembered you guys had said she was in that direction, so I didn't even play the fool. I said, "Watch your mouth, Cindy."
She immediately said, "You won't find any records you will like on my booth."
Saved you the time. That was pretty nice.
That was
which
very
I don't
generous.
think it's everybody thought. Well, I think I have a widespread taste. So you'll see one of the records that I got. It's some are just straightforward stuff. I did found one that it may not. It's probably the cheapest one. It's that cheapest one that I got, but the condition was so good I couldn't say no. So I'm happy with what I got. I played 2 records already and I already cleaned them, but I need some inner sleeves. All
right. Well, listen, we've built this up probably more than we needed to, but this is what the people wanted. This is why I felt compelled, motivated. I did a little mini pod yesterday to kind of just talk about my personal experience at the show. If you haven't listened to it on Vinyl Community Podcast, I don't know what you're waiting for. It's captivating. It's titillating. It hits you all, hits all the marks. So check that out. But in absentia of that, we actually have show and tell time. Everybody's getting their stuff together. So
I have.
Jose already kind of showed one, but I don't know. Do you guys how do you want to do this? You want to do the best and worst buys, or you want to do your favorite buys?
Best. No, let's do worst first, and then best.
So worst buy.
All right. Now, let's do that. I like Jason's idea.
What?
So let's go through. We'll do snake style. The worst thing you bought. Now, worst can mean worst price. The biggest thing that people are just going to shake their head in disgust and shame.
Those chicken tenders, without a doubt.
Well,
$25.
Outside of the brontosaurus meat chicken tenders that were prehistoric in nature and cracked a crown in Lou's mouth. Yes, I agree.
I'm debating which one is my worst because.
Well, look, we can go another. We can go 2 rounds. We only have a few of us on here, so
no, because one, it's the cheap record that it was in pristine condition, and then the other one, it's the cover that I show everybody that I could show them to. You know which one I'm talking about, right?
I know. I think I have a feeling, but if anybody's ready while I'm digging, I'll go ahead.
Yeah, I got mine.
All right, David, you kick us off.
We're going worst, right?
Yeah, let's do worst.
Okay. So I like a lot of, songs that were hits in the 60s and 70s, but maybe more 1 or 2 hit wonders. So I always hate buying a whole album of that artist for that one song. So I found this. It was $9. So I found this, England's Greatest Hits on Fontana. It had some songs that I wanted to get. Wild Thing by the Trogs, Millie Small, My Boy Lollipop. I know. A Game of Love, Groovy Kind of Love.
Wait, it says $1 there. They
I know. Well, no, yeah, they charge more than that. But anyway, the reason I got it was the stereo version. Well, I played this today, and hardly any of the songs have any stereo in it whatsoever. So it was kind of like, that's probably the one that was the most.
But what was the song that you wanted? Which one?
The Wild Thing by the Trogs, A Game of Love by the Mindbenders, Groovy Kind of Love by the Mindbenders. I think, and My Boy Lollipop by Millie Small, which is like a Jimmy Cliff kind of song. But anyway, they were stereo, but very minimal stereo.
Well, but it sounds like a good record to play when you're cooking or.
or drunk. Yeah.
Because you can scratch it without regrets.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
All right.
So anyway.
All right, Jason, you're up next.
Are we doing 2 rounds of worst or 1 round of
We
worst?
can do. Listen, we could. And to be clear, so we're getting a little pushback from the senior senator from the state of Washington. When we say worst buys, there was a reason we bought them.
Yeah.
I think for me, worst is I wouldn't probably. I don't know. I know 0 people in my life who would buy these records, and so that to me makes them interesting, but also just fun. And the price was. Listen, we're not paying $100 for.
It's worst buy because it was probably cheap or interesting to you, but
right.
You would have to
just having fun
justify
with it, right? Like I would, there's David, correct me if I'm wrong. Is that a listen to it once and maybe it never sees daylight again? Is that safe to say?
Yeah. Well, I would pull it out occasionally for some of those songs, but again, they weren't I probably would much less likely to play it now that I realize it really didn't have what I wanted from a stereo content standpoint.
Fair enough. So we're going to see a future video where you take it and you just break it. Is that safe to say?
Yeah. I'm going to put it in one of those, where they say pull, and you
right.
Anyway, clay pigeon record.
Great. Oh, hang on. Harry is the Seahawks game must be disgusting. So let me throw him a line real quick here. All right, hold on, Harry, coming for you, partner. All right, Jason Rojas, worst buy. How would you?
This could be considered the worst or the best. It depends, but it definitely changed rock and roll music when this guy devoted himself.
Oh yeah, this is a beaut.
To
Love it.
The Lord. Okay.
So tell us for the folks at home who can't exactly make out that script. What are you holding up there?
So this is I'm sorry, Chance. This is Little Richard's first gospel record. So he gave up rock and roll because it was the devil's music. But he still considered, making records. And I believe this is the first one. It's called I'll Never Walk Alone. Pray Along with Little Richard. You can see the volume 1 at the bottom there.
I mean,
is it a spoken word record?
Alone is cool as hell. I loved it when you showed it to me.
Is it a spoken word record?
Is it a spoken? Why didn't you guys want to play this record? You guys avoided this like the plague.
I'd like to interject that rock and roll is still the devil's music.
Well, hello
Harry.
Everybody. How's it going? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's halftime.
Well, you're just in time for best and worst buys, and then you can go back to watching the Seahawks. So,
okay,
Jason, please continue.
We didn't listen to it. Nate Mars and Jose, they looked at this record and were like, "Hell no, we're not gonna listen to this."
No, I actually think it got mixed with the records Nathaniel gave you, so I think we just didn't play those. That's why I believe. Maybe I would have played it if I had seen it. I guess. Probably.
So I have not listened to it. I mean, I've heard some of the tracks. He does sing on it, but it's more him just just
evangelizing. Is that safe to say?
Yeah. Like there's a song called "I'm Trampin'."
Hey, I might have to leave sooner than expected.
That's fine, Jose. No worries.
All right. Jose, what's this say?
All right, hang on, Harry. I know you're print for time. Let's put you big. Is this a worst buy?
No, it's my best. One of my best.
All right, we'll do your best. What does that hype sticker say? Is this the Ringo?
It's blurry, unfortunately.
It's in Spanish. Juntos otra vez, together again. In this record, Ringo Starr, John Lennon, Harrison, and Paul McCartney.
Well, this I can read. But I can't.
Oh, Jose, we need a translation.
Can you take it out? Can you take it out of the string?
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a good time. I'm glad I got to meet all you guys.
For sure.
Yeah.
I am exhausted.
No, it says, este LP contiene un folleto de 20 páginas. This LP has a booklet of 20 pages. Yeah, with lyrics and some fabulous drawings.
Yeah.
Drawings.
Okay. Drawings. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Jose, you're up. What was your worst buy?
I was talking with a guy that had an interesting booth because I think no one was going next to his booth, and I want to know why. And to be honest, he had very common titles, but they were all mint condition. So I felt a little bad. I wanted to buy something off of him. so I bought this. But
That's a good album.
Yeah, but it's in pristine condition. Like it has
Yeah.
nothing. I guess the record is mint. I've never seen it.
And that cover usually is kind of beat up because of the way it's designed.
Yeah, it's beat up. And to be honest, I've never owned this. But I bought it, and I thought it was $5, and for $5 for this record in mint condition, and the record itself, it's mint. I played it already, and I'm happy I got it. I mean, it's probably worse because it's like such a common record, but I have never seen it this cool, this minty, I guess.
Hey, Harry, we had a question from the gallery that was specific to you. Since we've only got you for halftime, I want to be sensitive to that. But Jim from Record Collector News, a fine record publication, is curious because he is concerned for your health and well-being. Harry, did you smoke weed in Texas? ? Inquiring minds want to know.
I did not.
Unfortunately,
but I will make up for it after the football game.
Ask him if he took his meds when he was there.
No, because I left him home. I forgot him.
So he was drug-free in Texas.
I was drug-free.
Wow. All right. Jose, yes.
I might have to go like in 5 minutes.
That's okay. Hey, Eddie Perez is on deck, so if you got to jump, Eddie Perez.
Yes, but can I show my records and get off?
Yeah, no problem. We'll make a special exception for a special person. Yes,
let's make it quick.
Yes. All right. It'll be quick. So I think this would be also one of my worst, but at the same time, it's pretty good.
So what is it, Jose?
It's the soundtrack for a Tim Heidecker movie called The Comedy. But to be honest, it was $5, and to be honest, the track listing was pretty good. It's Donnie and Joe Emerson. The guy. They just made a movie off them. They have the Baby song. Bill Fay, Gaines, and they has William Basinski, which is I'm looking always for that box set. It's always like people scamming people on Discogs, and
that cover reminds me of a Nielsen cover.
Yeah, I think they did it because of that. It's about like a comedian and everything like that, and it sings and shit. So it's pretty good. All right. One of my, again, some sellers were really into just selling stuff. I remember a guy from the get-go, he said, "I'm not waiting to make deals on Sunday. If you want a record, tell me how much you're willing to pay today." All right. So one of the booths that I was like, I think at the end of the day, I passed through it like 5 times, but I didn't ask anything. And then he had like 3 records that I wanted. One was this.
That?
This is a band called The Word of Skin, which is Michael Girard and Jarboe from Swans. And I had never seen this record in my life. And I mean, in person, I knew about it. But the cool thing is that it's the color, and it had the original. I mean, this is like the original sleeve that it came with, and it says limited edition gold vinyl. And this normally goes for like $75, $80 to $100, and I got it for $40. Okay, and it's mint condition, so I was pretty excited.
Feeling good, Jose.
Yeah, I mean, these two were the ones that I was like in desperate need of find, because this is always like $80, and this
is the John Cale and the what was the other one?
Yeah, the John Cale Paris 1919, which that particular song and the song called Andalusia are probably one of my favorite songs of all time. And this Nico one, which is I know it's a very unique Nico record, but if you are into Nico, you probably think this is one of the best, if not the best. It's very weird. It's hand organ, and it's very strange but beautiful at the same time. John Cale produced it and made the arrangements. But there's a song called Afraid that it's probably one of the most beautiful songs that I've heard. Mint condition, normally goes for $100. I got it for $35. So I think it's a pretty good deal. Then I traded one of the records that I had that I brought some records to the fair to like trade, and so I didn't pay anything for this one. But this is a promo copy of Doc at the Raider Station by Captain Beefheart, and the record itself, it's very, I would call it VG plus, mint, near mint.
Yeah, promo.
No, I would say near mint, to be honest. The only thing is like it's like, I don't know,
peeling weathers,
worn.
Yeah, but it's just the sticker, because the actual record itself, it's like
that timing strips get that way.
Yeah, I don't own a lot of records with that thing, but I thought it was.
Is that a white label promo? Is a record?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's on Virgin
okay
label. And then another of those like records that's like everybody has them or seen them, but I never seen it in a good condition. And this is a UK version. This is a Harvey Mandel, Cristo Redentor.
I just bought that last week. That's a good album.
Oh,
it's an amazing record.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's super good, and it's normally those like $15 record. The guy wanted 25. I traded for a record that I hated, the Love and Rockets, whatever the fuck it is, and I hate the record, and I got this for free, I guess. But he was on Can Heat, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yes, Can Heat. Well, who knows? But it's a very trippy record. It's very beautiful. It's like psychedelically. Oh yeah, Jason hated that I put.
And there's another album by him that has a very similar cover, and that one's just as good.
Yeah, yeah. But, and Harvey Mandel, I follow him on Facebook. He's battling with cancer right now, and he like every day like they give like updates on him. So I saw it and I was like happy to get it. It was good because it's a UK pressing. I saw it normally goes for like $50, but the US one goes for like 15, and it came on a original polyline inner sleeve, so that's pretty good, I guess.
Jose, I have great news. The judge from Romania has given you a score of 9.5.
Well, I haven't.
Yeah, but yet he rated the show a 6.5 or a 7. I don't get this. I really fundamentally, I think it's a diss. He's dissing Texas. It's a diss on Texas.
Oh,
that's.
Wait, I'm here.
There he is.
This is a record that I've been looking for a long time. It's a Mexican guy. It's called Jose, like my name twice, right? But
stuttered.
Look at that butterfly collar. What a sexy.
Yeah, right. What a Adonis. But this is a U.S. pressing, and the cheapest one right now on Discogs, it's $75, and I got it for $8.
So, the music,
and he rated the show as
Jose, if you were a twin, you could be Jose, and the twin could be Jose B.
Yeah,
there you go.
Well, funny enough, my dad met him once in Mexico City, and he didn't know what else to say. My dad.
Hang on, we got clarification. The judge from Romania has downgraded your score, Jose, to an 8.5. 8.5.
Because I showed a record in Spanish.
Once you put up the number, it's done.
Yeah.
You can't.
Because I showed that's a real racist, my guy. No, I'm kidding. but this is a pretty amazing. I put a record, one song on Jason's house, and he liked it. So that's pretty.
Even though it looks like a country, like a Mexican.
No, it's definitely no. It's
like a funk record. That record.
You would like it. It's like Harry Nilsson, but from here. And then I found this record, which is a Robert Wyatt record, and I think that guy really just wanted to sell it because it looks like a communist record, and it is, I guess.
You need to whack.
Yes, matching mold, which is the.
What makes
Robert
you say
Wyatt.
that? Is it the hand holding? Is it the weaponizing of the semi-automatic rifle, or maybe it's the red flag imagery? I can't make up my mind.
Well, he's wearing like Mao.
Yeah.
Send it to Rob.
Yes, and it has like the star at the back. But this is like the second record. They both were released the same year. Robert Wyatt was sort of like pushed back on his own band after Soft Machine. He had this band, which in French, Soft Machine is Machine Mol, which in English sounds like matching mol. So I love this record. The guy gave me it for $20. It normally goes for like 70 or whatever. Another questionable looking cover. It's Death in June, which same guy that like sold it to me like for a great deal.
Eddie says he met Jose in San Antonio.
That's great. He passed away like a few years ago, so that's amazing. He was like the prince of the song. That's what people call him. His voice was like extremely beautiful.
So John Moreno, asking what the title of the Jose LP?
He is like everywhere. Like if you go to like any place and they have like Latin records, they might have, but not this one because it was like there's like 2 or 3. I think it's called Príncipe, if I'm not mistaken. This one is just like self-titled, yeah. But I think in the Mexican pressing it's called Príncipe. But this one is just called Jose in this one. But listen to that song called Tu Melodía, and it's amazing. Yeah.
I didn't know it's not Jose, and they named the album Jose, and that's why it says Jose.
I guess. Oh, I'll show 2 more because I already gave my wife's giving my signal.
Me of the album you just showed.
This was
hang on. We've got Dueling Banjos. Harry is showing his propaganda album here. Let's see here.
Oh, that's almost the same title. Mine is called the Little Red
Album.
Little Red Record. Oh, that's pretty good. It's a Beatles bootleg. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, this was somebody repressed this. I won't show the back part of it, but it's called Hot Poop. Does their own stuff, right? And
they were losing viewers once Hot Poop flashed up there, so really spice it up, please.
And the beautiful, I won't show the back part
because it's like
nudity on it, but shout out to Toxic Toast Records in Long Beach, California, that put out this reissue. And funny enough, Hot Poop on shit color vinyl.
Right? Wow.
So that's amazing.
What's it smell like? Is it a scratch?
It smells like elderberries. Okay. And
not dingleberries, correct? As we said.
What was that stuff that you forced me to eat there in that little plastic tube?
And then the last one that I'll show is it's a very rare record.
That was Hot Poop.
Yeah, Hot Poop.
Noble Records loves that one, according to Chauncey.
This is Half Mensch by Einstürzende Neubauten. Newly collapsed building. Newly collapsed building. By a German band, a bunch of teeth in the cover, and my that was my favorite. I got some free records from some guy. Jason gave me a great record as well. It's a Karen Dalton record that I'll play tomorrow. I'm really grateful, and not just because I have it, but it's not mine. It's for a friend. I got this Marvin Gaye. Let's Get It On Mo-Fi record.
What'd the guy ask for that?
130.
Okay.
Wow.
Which I don't know if it's a good deal or not. It's
not bad.
I remember seeing it there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a friend really wanted it. He was looking for it. That guy had like 3 records. One that even Stunty wanted, but they were all extremely beyond trashed, like G plus type records. And when you ask for like more than $100 for G plus records, I get depressed.
Well,
so,
Jason, quit interrupting.
Yes. Well, I'll leave. I'm gonna go have dinner.
That was a hell of a showing.
It was a hell of a 5 minutes. I'll tell you that.
You turned 5 minutes into 17 minutes 20 seconds. So I congratulate you, sir. I'm going to send up a vibe. If Eddie wants to take your spot, come on up. But Jose, it's good to see you. And
nice meeting you, Jose.
It was great meeting everybody here. I appreciate Chan's generosity and Jason for putting up with me and my Domino's Pizza quest all these days. And it was great meeting everybody. I really enjoy the fucking brisket we had. It has not been mentioned, but the brisket was pretty on point.
Gary Black's barbecue, highly recommended.
Yeah. Right across the street from the center. Yeah.
Wasn't that my buddy Ed really enjoyed talking with you.
Yeah.
It was amazing that you guys were lived in the same town in New York.
Bring on Yetro Tool. I guess.
I gotta go, but let me show a blind buy.
Harry. Yeah, show us a blind buy. Yep.
Maybe Mazzy knows something about this band.
Rip it. So, Harry, it's called 30 Days Out. Is that the name of the album or the band?
And it's a promo.
Oh, WLP. Okay. Nice.
But I know nothing about this band, so.
We'll do
And
some
then I'll
research.
show you one more, and then I got to go.
All right.
How much was 30 Days Out?
I think it was like $6.
That's good.
Different cover. Yeah, that's a different cover. Yeah.
It's a bootleg, but it's so
Yeah.
cool. I had to get it.
Nice.
Hey, Harry, have you ever seen this? I know you collect weird. This is
Yeah,
George.
I have that, but not in
You-
that nice a condition.
Okay. All right. I
Yeah,
got
that's
this.
nice.
I got this for $5.
Eddie, how are you?
Hey, Eddie.
What's up,
Hey,
guys?
Eddie.
Now
Nice to
coming
meet
to the
you, Eddie, but I
stage.
got to run.
Summer. All right, Harry.
Hey,
Good
Harry.
running. Popping
Take
on.
it easy.
everybody.
See you.
See you, buddy.
Dave, I apologize for just running into you real quick and
No
not
problem.
introducing myself properly.
That's okay, buddy. That's
but I know
okay.
you were looking for Patrick, and I had just left him when I ran into
Was
you.
that you? Okay. I wondered.
Yeah,
okay,
that was me.
super. Oh, yeah. Thanks. I was wondering who's this guy that says somebody's looking for you.
Yeah, it was me, and I apologize for not introducing
No, that's
myself
okay.
properly.
Good to run into you.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully,
Literally.
run into the.
Well,
run
yeah,
into the next
I'm
one.
sure we will.
Well, Eddie, if you want to jump in, we started out with kind of an idea of worst records, worst buys, in the sense of they'd invite ridicule and scorn, but it's kind of degraded once Jose just did the full the assault of everything we had. So feel free to pull your stuff. Oh, hang on, I haven't shown my nonsense. All right, hang on, So I've got 3 quick hitters, and then I'll show the good
Cool.
stuff.
Go ahead. Take your time.
All right, so first thing I'm going to show. Hang on, I got to make.
that.
Yeah, now this is a very common record. This is Bad Fingers Airwaves. Okay, very common record. You know what's not common about it is finding it without the stupid notch or any kind of promo punch holes or anything. So this is nice and pure. It's a WLP, so that makes me very happy. So this is going to be, and this is my new quest. I'm looking for top copy. When I find the best copy I think I'm ever going to find, I get it, and then I move my other stuff on the way. So that's kind of that's the appetizer to what I'm about to hit you guys with. So then you guys better have the brown pants on, because you may or may not become jealous when you find a LaToya Jackson record.
Jesus.
What? You did not show
The
me this.
crackhead of the Jacksons.
I have not
crack.
I have not cleaned this beauty, but I got it in a bundle deal. Malaya was there. I just threw it in, and this guy he saw this and he took the price to a third of what the total sticker price was. Once I threw this in, this was a great negotiating play because he just wanted to get me out of his booth. Once he saw this LaToya Jackson hitting the light of error, he couldn't do it. Now, this one I'm really proud of.
Was the LaToya the Best Buy?
No. in the eyes of some, yeah. See, we're losing viewers left and right, so I gotta save the sinking ship. All right, now I know this never came out on vinyl. I know it was on cassette. I know it was on CD, the actual full album. So this is probably as close to getting this on vinyl that will probably ever happen, because the artist hates the period of his life and is now an established actor, one of Hollywood's A-listers, and that is the one, the only. Mark Wahlberg, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, Good Vibrations. Now, this is just a 12-inch single featuring the lovely Loletta Holloway. But I'm here to tell you, it comes on that Interscope label. Look at that. Oh, look at that. I cleaned this and I listened to this earlier, and this smokes. Now, if you guys are going to laugh. I know it's not Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. I know it's not any Beatles record, but for a youngin' who was coming up in the 80s and 90s, this is a beaut. This is delightful. And this was one of those things I didn't even know existed. And it was the beauty of the record show. When you put the time in to looking at the bins, magic can present itself. So the only question I have to ask, fellas, is you got them good vibrations? You got them sweet sensations? Because I do. And it's glorious.
So that was one of the worst picks you said?
In the eyes of some, yes. But in my eyes and in my heart, delight. A delight. So glad it came home. Louis, I'm sorry. I know I probably traumatized you. I set your record collecting back 15 years.
No, I like that's the reason why I would buy a record if it meant something to me like that.
Listen here, Mazzy. I understand that it's hard to fathom such great music came out in the 90s. I know your 90s list didn't include Mark Wahlberg. I don't know why. But I got it. Anyway, I rest my case, Your Honor. All right. So Eddie, what kind of stuff did you pull? It can be your best, your worst, anything in between, because now we've kind of broken the mold of worst.
Yeah, I'm going to tie this into your podcast. Today was the first time ever that I listened to your podcast. So I listened to the Austin one, really, really well done.
Thank you, sir.
For being short, it was cool. It was informative.
Excellent.
But one thing that I've learned going to these Austin record shows is don't show up with a list.
Yes.
You can spend up a lot of time missing other great finds by sticking to your list, by being a stickler.
Yep.
Just go and see what you find. So out of everything I bought, there was only one thing that I officially had on my list, and it was this 7-inch of the Jesus Lizard and Nirvana.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Oh, neat.
But the cool thing about this one is that the guy also threw in the CD single. So I've got the single itself.
Oh, right on.
And the pressing was the ultra rare European translucent blue.
Nice.
So this was only available in Europe, and I've been looking for this for a while. The guy had $60 on it, and it looked dirty and like a couple of scratches. And I asked him, how noisy is it? He goes, well, you'll hear a couple of clicks and pops. So I talked him down for $45. So $45.
45 for a 45. That's a good deal.
45, yeah. Can't go wrong. So this was the only thing that was on my list. Was I actively looking for it? No, it just happened to pop up. And there was this one vendor that's all he was selling, just 45 singles from Europe. So a bunch of picture sleeves from all over. So that was my only find that I officially have on my want list. And then everything else was just stuff that I ran into several vendors. I'll go through them real quick. Sodom, 40 years. 40 years at war. It's kind of like the greatest hits. They re-recorded some of their earlier tracks, so the production is much better on this. This is German thrash for people who are into metal. Mephistopheles, which is an Argentinian doom band.
Ooh.
I knew this would perk up, Louis.
Lunar Funeral, they're a Russian doom band. Really heavy. If you like heavy stuff, definitely check these guys out. I think that's their second album. The Brian Jones Massacre.
Yeah.
This is the first one. And this I found at End of an Ear, which is the
soundtrack.
Yeah, soundtrack of
Yeah, you were
Texas
talking about it, yeah.
And I bought this at Waterloo, which is the latest by Blonde Redhead. And then La Piece de Resistance is this box set by Mephistopheles on their first one, the first single called Whore. So there's original LP, a demo session, a live LP, and a picture disc.
Nice.
And that's it. But all of this stuff was just, I found by digging through this one guy. There's this vendor out of San Antonio. His name is the Cosmic Peddler. So if you're into psych, doom, rock, classic rock, look up the Cosmic Peddler. He's got good prices. I know he distributes for Heavy Psych. That's one of the labels, and other small labels from Europe. So definitely a vendor worth checking out if you're into that stuff. But it was great. It was a great experience. I'm glad I made the trip last minute. It was great meeting everyone, face to face.
Yep.
Getting to know everyone, on a more personal level. So I hope that everyone decides to repeat in May. I plan to attend, but you never know what can happen. I'll be there. I'll be going up tomorrow morning because I'm going to go see Boris and the Melvins. So I'm just going to go in.
You're going to LA, right?
I live in Laredo, and I'll be going to LA next week.
Oh, next week. Got it. Okay.
Next Wednesday.
Gotcha. Hey, Eddie, before, looks like Wyoming Dave's asking what kind of artists are on that Texas Chainsaw Massacre soundtrack?
It's on IRS. So it's got that Concrete Blonde, the Cramps. Who else? Earl Mankey, Timbuk 3, Oingo Boingo, Lords of the New Church,
Nice.
Concrete Blonde, Stuart Copeland. So it's kind of like punk, new wave from the 80s.
But also that
Or
cover,
IRS.
that Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 cover is the same as the cover of the movie The Breakfast Club.
Yep.
It is. That's right.
It's a parody.
And that to me is just absolutely fantastic.
So is Leatherface, is he the Molly Ringwald? I'm just
He
curious.
is. Yes. No. Leatherface is. I'm looking at it right
Judd
now.
Nelson, right? He's
Yeah,
Judd
Judd Nelson. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, Chance, thanks for setting this up for all of us to, meet and,
Of course.
go to lunch and get to hang out.
And thank you for getting the tables, because you were first at the Terry Blacks, and that was what I was worried about. I thought we'd probably have to eat apart, but you got that first table, and then it sounded like everything kind of worked out from there.
Yeah, because the table next to us had just left. So I was like, okay, let's bring that one together. And then that guy was sitting all alone where, Jason sat. So after he left.
Listen, I sat at the same table. Jason's getting a raw deal.
Yeah, everyone's thinking Jason was like, been thrown out like a dog out there.
At the same table. I was right there with Jason. It was because we gave up our seats to the rest of our guests, and so we took the slim pickings. And in fact, there's some power Hoosier that took my chair, so I had to go hustle and get another chair. Thanks to Bobby Brisket Jeans, who took my chair when I got up to help somebody else. So if you're out there, Bobby Brisket Jeans, I got one for you next time I see you in Austin.
Was that the restaurant where one rib was $482?
Yeah.
Yes. The Brontosaurus rib that they charge by the pound, but they don't tell you that 2/3 of the weight is the bone, which unless you're going to make a stew right at your table, I don't really see the value in. Delicious. I think Jason got one. I had one last year.
Yeah, they're pricey, but their barbecue's probably next to Franklin's, probably the second best in my opinion.
Thank you, Eddie. That meat at Franklin's, the sides, pretty whack, but I gotta say that meat at Franklin's, it's untouchable. It's a delight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anywho, all right, David. David, we started you on the wrong foot. What about some of the heat? What kind of heat did you find in Austin?
This was probably the quad version of Aerosmith.
Oh, I've never even seen that. Wow.
And so this is the definitive version, according to Patrick. So my buddy Brad saw this. It was at a booth that everything was half price. So it was marked for $60. I paid $30, and Patrick said it's worth $100. I hadn't looked. I don't know.
The secret special.
Yeah, and this one I've been looking for a long time and couldn't find, and that's the Buckingham.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that before. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been looking, so I was glad to find this one. So, like I said, I didn't spend as much time looking for my own stuff this time, but that's fine.
That was it, David? Nothing outside of that, man.
Well, my Houston trip really was where I got the heat.
Yeah, we'll touch on that. We'll see how long run, but I have a lot of inquiring mind stuff on that. So
yeah.
So Jason, are you going to stun us? Number one stunner? Are you going to show us?
You showed the picture from the Instagram. I put the link in there.
Oh, hang on. I got to go to the seat. Did you put it in the chat? Yeah, right here.
Yeah, in the live chat.
Hang on. I got to pull this and hang on. Copy. And then I got to do this. Let's see.
Are we doing best buys or still like the worst buys ever?
Oh, no. Let's do best buys because we listen. We don't want to do an all nighter. Oh, that link. Hang on. That link isn't working for me. Hang on.
Oh, it did not work for you?
Oh, hang on. That's because there's. Is it short up? No. Yeah, hang on. Here, I'm gonna do something different. I think I can get it to work. Yeah, this will work. Oh yeah. Hang on. This is the actual meal in question, the Last Supper, as some are calling it. Let me find where you guys went. All right. Present. Share screen. I want Instagram. VC lunch. Harry was kind of take this photo. Let me do this. Hold please.
I think you need to zoom. Wow. As you can see, Jose is way too happy, and the barbecue sauce is about to get on top of him.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, what a delight.
Sorry I missed you, Louie. I heard you made the drive down.
Yeah,
you guys literally,
just
like
missed it.
Eddie, literally we were walking away from lunch. You were walking away, because you were leaving. And Louis texted me and he's like, I'm here. And Louis had originally told us he'd probably in town be about 5 o'clock. So you guys literally missed each other by minutes. And there's no exaggeration there.
Yeah, those trees in the background, everybody. That's where the event center's at. So
It's right over here to the left.
It's literally across the street.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
You could get killed trying to go across the street, but other than that, it's fine.
Yeah, this is the most VC members I've ever met in one, at one time. I usually have met them individually. When I went to LA, I hung out with a couple, as I discussed when we were having drinks. But yeah, this meetup was definitely top notch.
You know what we can do, Malaya, is we can take Louis' face. We'll let Louis submit the photo he wants, and we can superimpose him on that guy in the far back that took my damn chair, Bobby Brisket jeans. And that way I can have a fond memory of.
He's not the only one that isn't in that picture.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, accurate statement. Accurate statement. Anywho, all right. So, Jason, what you got?
Let's see if we can get this. As everyone can see, this is the UK copy. The Emily play from 1967. You can see it's for 35. And I asked the UK dealer, "Can you wiggle on this 35?" And
did you use the word wiggle? That'd be a first. I've never heard that.
And he looked at me, "Wiggle mate," wiggle mate.
Oh boy!
And then he said 30, and it was mine. So
nice.
Best buy of the Austin Record Show for me.
I will say that one of the items I was looking for, Chance, remember I told you about that Pink Floyd, that 2-4 that has a saucer full of secrets and Pipers at the Gate of Dawn?
Yeah, I remember you said that.
Well, I found it online for $80 from a guy in New Zealand, so I bit the bullet.
You did.
I couldn't find it in Austin. I looked. I guess this has to be a wall record in someone's, booth, but no one had it.
Really?
Man. So this is actually a good thing Vance is bringing up. He said, "So you all sworn to secrecy, not to give up Nathaniel Mars's identity." I don't know if there was a blood oath. But I think it was probably implied.
It was implied.
Nathaniel values his privacy, and so yeah. So we did him a solid. And it's actually I think it's his idea to actually be in because at first he wasn't going to be in the photo.
Yeah.
But we worked out a compromise where we showed the back of his head, and fortunately he still has his head of hair, unlike myself. So it worked out well. Very clever. All right, Jason. Anything else you want to flex? This is your opportunity to flex.
The flex? No, I don't. I mean, I'll share this again just to get myself laughed at. Let's just go there again. James Dean on conga drums, I guess, maybe, right? Maybe. And Bob Romeo on flute. I don't know.
Wow.
From an original tape. That's what it says. From your fingers covering it right now, but on the front it says from an original tape. just any original tape.
But there is a good record. I can show you one more record.
Please do.
This is the one that Nate Mars and Jose, they just loved it. They kept on playing it over and over on my turntable, and there it is. I Got Drunk with Sin City. Sin City is the Flying Burrito Brothers track. So it's pretty cool. And I bought these from two American dealers that went to Den Bosch. So it was cool to meet up with them and have a big chat and stuff. It's awesome.
Did you recognize them or they recognize you?
They recognized me. They're like, "Oh man, what's up?" So it was
cool.
Like a reunion. It was cool.
Excellent.
I mean, I could still share some bad records. I mean, Jose.
Hey, listen, show it all. Show us everything. Stevie Winwood, Higher Love. Wow,
that doesn't look consensual, does it?
Yeah.
Wow.
But they loved it because it was the UK copy,
Oh.
Jeez.
Wow, Stevie Winwood could be a soccer coach. My goodness.
I see my score going from a 9 to
yeah. We need to check with the judges on this one because that one could be a little controversial.
Guys, let me ask you, how were the crowds and how were the vendors on Saturday? I know Friday it wasn't as packed with vendors or foot traffic. So Saturday, was it a madhouse?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely there was more
10.
vendors
After
on
10.
Saturday.
After 10 it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a sea of humanity. I mean, as it tends to be, but I would say from 8 to 10, it was mildly, it was fine.
Yeah.
But you know that from 8 to 10, that's kind of like the calm before the storm because
Oh yeah.
because here's the reality. Because first year I went, I learned this is that Friday early bird goes without saying. You can get the first run at things, and it's less crowded. It's to me, it's worth paying the $30. Then you go Saturday, and they give you that little wrinkle of from 8 to 10, also early bird. So
Yeah.
the same, it's part of that $30 ticket. And I thought the first year I went, it was going to be a bust. I'm like, I've already seen everything. But you have vendors who didn't set up Friday who are now set up.
Exactly.
You've got vendors like the vendor Jose talked about on the back wall who has the giant wall display. He mixes new inventory like a lot of them do. So then, if you just do your due diligence, especially if it's a vendor that you had success with the day before, I have a high suspicion you'll probably be pleasantly surprised. So it's a lot of fun. Arnaldo he's exiting stage left. He's seen enough bad records from Jason that he just can't take it anymore.
Wow.
All right. Are you guys ready to see the sadness and the greatness all in one?
Uh-oh.
Now, you guys gave me a lot of grief. The LaToya Jackson, I know you're still reeling from LaToya Jackson, so I'm going to start you off slow. This is going to be slow and low to let it grow.
Make yourself big, Chance.
Got it. All right, here we come. So actually, I'm going to start with something I got from Armando Vintage Mio. He gave me a great deal. This is a Suicidal Tendencies record. Still
Nice.
in Drink, nice hype. There's Mr. Robert Trujillo, the bass player for Metallica. So this is a nice pickup on that epic label. So I was happy for that. And then, let's see, I'll kind of go with some 90s jammers because I like to collect the 90s stuff. And a lot of times it sounds like caca.
Yeah.
That's okay. Because it just wasn't mastered for vinyl, right? However, found a couple winners, and then I'll get to probably my deal of the show. The first one I found was from Josie Records, had a booth there, and they just bought this. I saw on the social media they bought the quote unquote St. Louis collection. I don't know why I never got wind of it, considering it's in my home city. But regardless, this piece came out of there.
So, yeah, I love that. That's great.
So this is a gold original 97 White Zombie La Sexo Resisto. So it has their mainstream breakout song Thunder Kiss 65. But
if you don't mind, Chance, how much did that run you?
$2.
Black Sunshine.
Yeah, so this was a big swing, and what's interesting is I didn't see this. It was funny. David, you and Brad, your friend Brad, had told me the story of Brad picking up that classic record Zeppelin, and so you guys pointed me in the direction of that vendor, and I was right there, but I saw this literally at the Josie guy because he was late to set up, and I walked right past, and I heard you guys, hey, he's right there, he's right there, but I was in a trance because. Literally, I saw again Josie's socials. I knew they had this, but I had no idea they'd be at the show and that they'd bring this. So I could not. 200, Mazzy, 200. This was a big.
Were they right across from that guy I was telling you about?
He was right next to him, like literally.
Right next to him. Yeah. I didn't realize that was Josie. Okay.
Yeah. And the only reason I knew is because they have the sticker, and it's a pretty easy sticker. And
I thought I saw Jose had one from them. I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, and then so another vendor, another 90s jammer. I know Cesar is out there. So this is Bush's Razor Blade Suitcase. This is their follow-up to the Cesar. Tell me the name. I'm blanking. I have both.
The other Bush album.
16 Stone.
16 Stone. Thank you, Louis. But anyway, a guy actually
huge in the 90s.
Yeah. So, and this is on Interscope. So I got a lot of Interscope records, coincidentally enough, which I thought was kind of unusual. But anywho, guy had this on his wall. So I just got to talking to him, and he expressed frustration for 90s records in his shop that he just can't unload them. So I was glad to take that one off of his hands. And then, so my big swing with and I told the story a little bit earlier about Jose pointing me in the direction of the one vendor. He didn't have the Butthole Surfers record, but he did have this album because Jose told me about it, and I was like, sure. I thought he was mistaken because this album's been reissued, and that's usually what you'll see. And so this is Mad Seasons Above. And so it's not a terribly rare record. Like if you're willing to buck up, you can find it. And I bought a copy years ago for like $100. But what's very common in this title is that it's got a corner cut. So this one, as you can see, boys, is the rare no corner cut. So again, nuance. This is a 3-sider, so the 4-side has etchings. But I'm gonna move on my other copy. But this again, I'm talking about top copy. That's kind of what I'm shooting for when it comes to this stuff. So now, deal of the show. And I was talking about that moment. I didn't have an oh shit moment, but I had a and I was just digging through this vendor. He had a couple of pieces on the wall that kind of drew me to him like a moth to a flame. And so the first thing I saw was this Blue Note. This is Art Blakey and the Jazz Messenger. This is a live recording. It's at the Jazz Corner of the World. This was a two-parter. So Blue Note 4015 was part 1, and this is the part 2 of the same performance. Original, and I knew it was good because I saw RVG in the Dead Wax. So I'm like, okay, cool. And it had a $1.99 sticker on it. That's $1.99. So I knew that wasn't on the up and up, but because everything else was pressed, pretty competitive Discogs pricing or whatever. But this is the one, and so I bought these together. This is, I guess, a jazz classic. Jazz heads out there. This is Moanin' by Art Blakey. And this is the Mono 59 original RVG. I quadruple checked it. I didn't, but I knew I was on to something because when you see the laminate cover, like there are certain cues that like this is probably a good piece. So I didn't want to look it up in front of the guy because again, $1.99 price tag on here. So I took him to the guy and I was like, hey, doubt these are $1.99. What do you want for them? And then and this is the first time this has ever happened. Then he had an oh shit moment, like, oh shit, I didn't price those. And he goes, oh. And he said, you know how much these are worth? And I could honestly say I didn't. So I was like, no, I didn't look them up, promise. And he's like, $30 for both of them. So this one, so these are both, and again, they play like amps. The other one has a little bit of a tick in one song, but this is I know there's Music Talk with John. I knew you'd like this one, John, because this one's stone cold stunner. And of course, got my guy Lee Morgan on both of them. Oof, chef's kiss. So like all the super old jazz titles, they have marks on them, but those things are like Cadillacs. They're as champions. They sound delightful. So anyway, $30 for 2 records that, let's call it, median on Discogs is probably about 170 to 230 ish ballpark. So anyway, crushed it. So that was my and that was the vendor's oh shit moment. But that was a lot of fun because those opportunities happen, but especially on jazz titles, because there's a lot. Again, these are a lot of nuanced buyers too. So the fact that I was able to kind of sneak one in felt good.
Stick it to the man.
Nancy.
Hey guys, I gotta bounce. I gotta get things ready for tomorrow morning. But thank you for having me, Chance. And
yeah, of course,
thank
Eddie.
you for
going on up.
Yeah, thank you for setting up that meetup on Thursday before the show, and for the lunch that we had on Friday. Hopefully next time, David, I will stop by and introduce myself properly, and hopefully Louis can make the next one, man. I'd love to meet you, man.
Yep. Totally.
We'll do
All right, guys. Y'all be cool. See you.
Take care, Eddie. See you.
Bye. Be good.
Bye.
Well, that's all I had for Austin. Again, I think to put a bow on it. Great visit, great show. I know Eddie mentioned going in the spring. I've never been to the spring one, but I have eyes on that New York show next year, so I don't know if I'm going to do Austin next year. I'm mildly intrigued. I wish I could do it this year, but we have another trip kind of coming up. So, anywho, but it was great to meet everybody, and likewise, great that everybody came on here. So, mad appreciation. You want to talk about the Record Store Day list? Because I did kind of drop on our laps today.
Well, it probably belongs a little lower in the anatomy, but anyway,
Well,
okay.
yeah, I was gonna say it's not the best, not the best.
People are now just figuring out that I did not get anything.
Well, I was gonna say, Louis, did Jose drive you away?
No, I didn't have a list. I didn't want to spend a bunch of money, and and actually I'm a little bit disappointed because the reason I went was because I wanted to experience a full on, just completely ridiculous political argument live, and it didn't happen.
Well, this is all music talk. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was so weird. There was no like explosive, heated debates about anything.
Oh, you were sitting on the wrong end of the table. There was like a rush debate between Patrick and Brad, Vinyl Rush.
Yeah.
They were like just getting at it. I was sitting between them and trying to eat like a hot, spicy cauliflower and just like, why am I sitting between this Rush like argument?
Rush argument. Okay,
Malia says she found her general record on Saturday.
Oh no, Louis.
Wow. It was probably
you're
very
rubbing your face in it now.
It was probably at that place we were at where Malia found some riot stuff, I think, or LA gun stuff, and it's probably $200. But nevertheless, no, I just went to meet everybody because I didn't have a list. I didn't want to spend a bunch of money, and I really just wanted to meet everybody and hang out, and it was awesome. It was super.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, next time if you're looking for a place, you could just stay with me, but you'll have to compete with maybe Jose's snoring and Nate's Wolfman mask. So
yeah, it's poor planning on my part is really all it was that I left earlier. I just, you know what I mean? Because I didn't want to. Another thing is I knew everybody was going to disperse and get right down to business and really go through digging and collecting and like trying to find the things that were either on their list or really be focused on looking at stuff. And I didn't want to do that because I didn't have. Like I said, I didn't have a list. I didn't have any, I didn't want to just be dead weight on Saturday.
You wouldn't have been dead weight.
No, yeah. I mean, you wouldn't. Next time, you can just stay with me next time. Again, deal with Jose's snoring. That'll be on you. So.
Jose snoring is another talent. He talked about falling asleep in the vehicle, which he told me about when we were driving to your house that first night.
You have a photo example of that, don't you?
Dude, that's narcolepsy. I'm not kidding.
Well, I mean, I did not take any photos, but I was close to recording video, but I was like, I don't know.
No one falls asleep that fast naturally.
Well, no, and what's funny is Jose told me that, because Jose was amply sharing music, and we were talking, and it was great. We were talking about stuff outside of music, which was fantastic, getting to know each other. And he straight up said, he's like, hey man, I have to tell you, don't take it personally, but in these car rides, like I'll fall asleep. And I was like,
later.
No, that's exactly. It was almost like a precursor because I was like, oh, okay, because I thought maybe I was telling a long-winded story or something, but no, Jose was telling all the stories.
You should have told him that would only bug you if he was driving.
Yeah, that's why I asked. Because
but not Louis, you're spot on. But within 2 minutes, there was a silence. The silence broke for the first time probably all day, and then next thing I know, I look over and he's
out.
He's just straight gone. He's gone to nap town.
You look over and he's out, right? His eyes are closed and he's sleeping, and then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, he pulls a record out, shows it.
Yeah, right.
And then another one.
Yeah.
And
his zipper opens and he goes, "That's not a record."
No, but I can understand because we had been hitting the record stores pretty hard that day, and he had
that 10-hour bus ride.
He had a 10-hour bus ride. I picked him up at the bus station, and we kind of went right to it. But
you're missing the main thing, Chance. What did Jose do when we went to Piranha? When I met you guys at Piranha Records, and you're forgetting the one thing he was doing.
Oh, you mean his sales pitch?
Yes.
Yeah. So I didn't know this going in. So. And Jose probably won't mind me telling this, but so I pick up Jose at the bus depot, and I'm like, hey, let's just run to the hotel. It's just right down the street. You can drop your stuff off at my room, and then we'll get after it. So we stop at the room, and he's like moving some stuff around, and he's telling me, oh, I brought some records to trade at the show, and I'm going to take them to some stores. Okay, cool. But I didn't know is he brought a bunch of records from his label to also try to get placement at these stores. So mad respect for the hustle. I can appreciate it. So that little case. So picture Jose, who's about, I don't know, 6'2", and just coming in, with this tiny baby record case, like a baby Huey record case, and it was the same sales pitch. We started end of an ear. Well, first we started at Half Price Books. He didn't do it there, but we got warmed up our digging fingers there, and so we go to end of an ear, and here comes Jose with his case, and he just walks right in, and he had told me in advance he had sold to them last time, like 2019 was the last time he said he was here, and yeah, I heard him because I just went straight to looking for records, and I heard him. He's like, yeah, I got a label, blah, blah, blah. But every place we went, and I respect the hustle, we go to Breakaway Records next. So he would do two things. He would pitch his records from his label, and then he would take his own records he came to barter with, and then he was trying to leverage those offers. So I think the records he showed, or he brought his personal collection to trade, I think End of an Ear offered him like 125. The next shop we went to, they offered him 75 at Breakaway. So he was like, man, what the fuck? This
going the wrong way.
Right. I was like, Jose, maybe we need to jet back to End of an Ear, and maybe that's the high end of the market. And so the guy, so it's funny, me and Jose were looking at records, and then the buyer came over at Breakaway, and he goes 75. And I looked at Jose's face, and Jose looked like somebody had ran over his puppy. And he's like, excuse me? And they're like 75. He's like, oh yeah, man, I can't do that. He's like, I mean, I'll think about it, but I think I'm gonna just take them. So then the buyer acted kind of insulted a little bit because I guess I don't get a lot of no's. So he went back and talked to the owner, and I think they made a better offer, but Jose was still not playing. So so then we went to Waterloo. Same thing. Hey, I've got this label, but then I've also got some records. And one of the records he had was like a Sopranos soundtrack from Record Store Day a couple years ago. And I think on Discogs, he told me it's like at least $100 record. So if you wanted to sell it out right now, I was like, well, Jose, why don't you just, trade it? Or, like, why don't you wait to the show? Like, if you think you can get a better return, you don't have to, like, these stores have to, get at least, 40 points on this stuff from it. So, but then at Waterloo, he remembered that from 2019, they still owed him money because he was doing stuff. So, and he had never mentioned this up until literally we're getting ready to leave. Okay. And we're getting ready to leave. And he goes, oh, hang on. And I heard that a lot. Hang on. Okay. But he's like, they owe me money here. And I'm like, what? And he goes, no, man, I did the same thing. I gave records and they sold them, but I never got my cut. So they owe me money. And I'm like, 2019, Jose, that was 4 years ago. Like,
pre-COVID.
Yeah, like good luck. So he goes, hang on. And so I'm like, look, man, I'm gonna go out in the car. Like, you handle this. No rush. I'm just gonna like internet. I'm gonna look on my phone. I'm gonna I'll probably break some wind, since he wasn't around.
Get out of line of fire.
Right. You know what I mean? But so anyway, but to their credit, they found what they owed him. I didn't ask, but they got like somebody who knew the system, and so I was like, Jose, did you get paid? And he's like, yeah, I got paid. All right. So then we go to head north to visit Jason, and we took a little detour back to End of an Ear to look at a record I didn't get, but so we head north to go visit Jason. That's where we were in traffic, and that's when Jose shared his narcolepsy thing with me, and demonstrated it multiple times. It was just like 1 minute he'd be talking about a record, but yeah. So we get to Jason. There's a shop by Jason's called Piranha Records, and Jason had beat us there, and he was waiting. And here comes Jose with that little briefer, and so he same pitch, and but I think he did better there because I think he got placement and he got $80 cash, not trade, because they'll give you more in trade at those shops than cash. But Jose cleared $80, and he couldn't put that in his pocket fast enough. So I was happy that his diligence paid off. George Borden, shout out to you, sir. This is not going to be an 8-hour stream. This is probably going to wrap up.
You're missing the best part. So when the owner of Piranha Records was looking at me because he recognized me, I'm his local guy, right? I go, hey, I met these guys on the internet. Chance without missing a beat. He goes, yep, Match.com.
Timing is everything in comedy.
Hey, listen, once in a while, blind squirrel finds a nut. So I just worked on that one. Yeah. No, there's a lot of fun.
I thought it was Grinder.
No. It smells like barbecue in here. Well, George, you came to the right place. It just depends if it's Good barbecue. You tell us that.
Yeah.
Expensive barbecue. Louis is correct. And John, let's see. Here we go. John, you would only be so lucky to smell my magical man scent. So just remember that. But anyway, no, it was a good visit. All in all, had a good time. It was a good show, but I enjoyed it obviously for different reasons. And I'm sure I'll come back. Like I said, I don't know what next year holds, but I always feel like after I do a show like this, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not going to do it for a while. And then as a little time takes on, and then it gets into the new year, and then I'm like, man, Austin's really nice that time of year, and it's a pretty inexpensive plane ticket, and so we'll see. But anywho,
you know how Jason brings up albums to get people kind of upset. I'll do that.
David, tell us the story about where this came from.
This came from collections. A couple guys that are twins. They're in their early 70s outside of Houston that Brad and I visited twice to go through their collection, and found this one in their collection yesterday. So,
now, is it safe to say that that's probably the best reissue?
That supposedly is, beyond the the blue triangle. It's supposed to be the best reissue. I'll let you know. What do you think? What do you think, Jason?
I've messaged John Bandy about this. Like, what is the best Dark Side of the Moon? I really don't think there is per se. Like, if you want, what did you show? You showed the 30th.
The 30th, yeah.
I think if you like bass, that one's got it. If you like more mid-range, the German pressing's got it. If you want an intense version of Dark Side of the Moon, that's probably the first UK. If you want more dynamics in a way, maybe the second or third UK pressing. If you like guitar, maybe the quad pressing. Now I've gone full dork on Dark Side.
Yeah, well, that's a mix issue there, right? Yeah, sure.
Louis already like, man, I don't really like Jason.
What if you want one where you couldn't tell the difference anyway?
Probably the US pressing.
Let's see. DGAS, don't give a shit pressing.
No, I would if I had a system that would discern it. I think I probably would, which sort of makes me glad I don't.
So I can show KRW. So
KRWD. Yeah, let's flex these real quick for the late. What do you got?
So this is a UK 45 of the early Fleetwood Mac with Peter Green, and this
Peter
is
Green era,
of the world. The cool thing is it has a B-side by their jokey parody band called Earl Vince, and I don't know if I can pull that.
There you go.
Somebody's gonna get their head kicked in tonight.
Wow.
Right? So this is like the jokey, 50s rock and roll that they also did as a side act in their early career, I guess, Fleetwood Mac. But this is pretty cool. So
yeah.
And I think I only paid $5 for this.
Oh, nice. But those 45s though, they take a lot more effort, don't you think? Like that's some serious commitment.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I was just spinning them for Nate and Jose. They stayed with me, and then I let them sort of man the DJ set. Well, it's dark, you can't see it, but I let them free for all, play whatever you want. Just don't break my needle and turntable.
All while Jose's spinning a Domino's pizza like a basketball on his finger.
Right.
What's with him and Domino's?
So Jose came up and we were talking food, and I kind of gave him a rundown of we're gonna go to this barbecue place, Terry Black's, one of the best in town, yada yada. And Jose was like, yeah, I hear you. He's like, do you think while we're here we can get some pizza? And I said, yeah, that's probably a reasonable request, And even Jason, when we met up the night before, he was like, yeah, there's pizza place, blah blah. Now Jose does have a gluten situation that you have to be cognizant, but he's like, yeah, I'm not real picky, but you know what's really good? And I thought he was going to make a recommendation or something. He's like, Domino's.
Does Domino's have gluten-free pizza?
See, I don't know that part, but he was just.
They do. They make a 10-inch special gluten-free.
But is that what he got?
Yes.
Okay. All right. It's like. That seems weird.
He was hell bent. Thank you, KRWD. I appreciate that. He was hell bent on that Domino's, and I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but he told me a secret. You guys want to hear it? It's a dirty little secret. He said because we were talking about tacos, and I'm a gringo mayor, so I like cheese on my tacos. Like these tacos, these street tacos have so much cilantro and the chopped onions. I don't play that way. Give me some cheese, I'm cool. So we're talking about this, and Jose goes, "Hey man, I got something to tell you." And I, that can really go a lot of different ways. And I think this is after he had woke up from one of his slumbers in the vehicle, and he goes, "Hey man, I got something to tell you." I was like, "Okay," and he goes, "I like Taco Bell." And I was like, "Okay," and he goes, "There are so many Latinos, they shit all over it. It's no good, but man, I love me some Taco Bell." I'm like, "Jose, nothing wrong with that, man. This like fly that freak flag proudly."
Yeah.
Because you know what? We've all been there, especially in the overnights, and you just got to get a gordita supreme or a Mexican pizza or.
It's not the same as it used to be though. They did change all their ingredients and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. It
used to be worse and better at the same time somehow. Like when I was a kid.
That's hard to do, but I agree with you. They somehow pulled it off smashingly, yes.
At least he didn't start the story with, "Now it is contagious, but." God, I was bitching about Taco Bell the other day and how like Mexican pizzas used to come with sour cream on them and stuff, and now it's just like an old disc golf disc. It was something was different about it in the 90s.
Now hang on, Cesar. I know you're really telling me that Jose was going to take me to a real taqueria, but hey man, Torchy's Tacos has never done me wrong. That Diablo queso, Jason and we ate it before I left, and even Jason had to tap out because that Diablo will get you. It'll get you.
That's right. It did get me.
Oh, it got you.
Yes.
George is right. Domino's was better back then too. They have all of those have cut costs in ways that have translated into cardboard.
Listen, Louis, you're leaving out the worst part of these fast food places now. Flip the tip.
Oh yeah.
Flip the tip is the biggest.
I have this when the cashier does that though. I have this thing. What I do because you know how it turns. So they turn it to you. So whatever, usually you don't turn it back. But what I do is I like make I get on the screen where my finger is on the button, and then I lock eyes with him, and then I slowly turn it around and hit no tip.
Savage.
I hate that shit.
Yeah, I have a real problem with the flip the tip situation because a lot of these
negative $1 million.
Yeah. If there's a negative tip, I mean, listen, I'm all for helping people, and I'm all for the service industry because I spent my time in the service industry in college, so I get it. However, you're going to the gas station, you're going to 7-Eleven.
Being at the cash register ain't a service.
Well, right, and so I have a real challenge with that one. I just struggle, especially when I don't know if we talked about it earlier, but the wing food truck in that parking lot we ate at, they wouldn't even let you decline.
You couldn't even talk to them.
You couldn't even opt out. It was they had the 3 buttons and there wasn't even an other. It was
15, 20, and 80.
Yeah. And again, like Louis said, the only service was you walked up to their window, scanned their QR code, did everything from your phone, and then you walked up to the window where
when Johnny they summon you.
Yeah, Johnny Personality, who knew 4 words, would just shove the food at you. And oh, by the way, 80% tip. Man, come on. I
didn't create tipping culture in this country, but I wish I could do away with it altogether because I'll tell you who's working harder than the servers is the cooks.
Oh yeah, 1,000,000%.
There's just, instead of now tipping is like a possibility everywhere. Now I get if they just rolled out the software and like every single POS software is like, oh, it's whatever, and we'll cast a wider net. Maybe we'll get you some tips or whatever. I get it, fine, whatever. But it should just be no one gets tipped. Like, come on. I know what you were doing back there on your phone, you little server, while you were waiting for boy to work his ass.
Well, if they're getting $2.37 an hour, and then it's
different. But that's different, right?
That's totally different, right?
The thing is, the $2.37 an hour is they're not actually making less than minimum wage, because if their make tips do not equal minimum wage, the business pays the difference.
That's right.
So they're never making less than minimum wage. Not 1 minute.
But talking about like fast casual places, which have historically never tipped. If you wanted to tip, it was usually like, hey, here's $5 for above and beyond, right? Now that stupid flip the tip software, I'd like to know whoever came up with that so I can kick them square in the dick.
Yeah.
It is one of the worst things, because then, like you said, Louis, then it's creating this adversarial situation with the workers, because the workers aren't being paid accordingly, or they're not making a fair wage or a decent wage or whatever. So the corporation is literally passing the onus, the buck, onto the customers. They're already paying the higher prices. They're already getting substandard product. And oh, by the way, can you subsidize our workers' wages with a tip?
Exactly.
Every single transaction.
And
Sorry, I know that's the get off my lawn moment, but it is the biggest crock of bullshit that's going on in the last 5 years.
You know, who really deserves the tip more? This waitress who definitely took a shower today, or Johnny back there who's been up for 3 straight days playing Fortnite, he's baked out of his mind and somehow still makes your food pretty much the right way. You know, my tip should go to that guy.
Yeah.
Juggling knives.
It sounds like you should have went to the Mexican restaurant that I took Jose to on Saturday. Next to me.
How did that go?
Well, I don't know, like taking Jose to a restaurant that he may or may not like just because he's hungry. I don't know. It was a risky move, but he was like, "I'm hungry." And I was like, "We are not getting Domino's right now. We are not." No.
They have the one gluten-free pizza back there. It's been sitting there.
Yeah, you know what? Some of the restaurants around here too, I just remember they have service charge if you use a credit card now.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they're passing. Yeah, they're passing the 3% on. 3%. That's a new one. That's a new one from corporate America. Is that before they just absorbed the credit card into their like normal costs, right? But now, yeah, I noticed it with small businesses first, and so I was like, oh, okay, well that's not cool, but whatever, right? But yeah, corporations have now taken the baton. Not to mention they've continued to take the price. Man, I could listen. I could talk about this for days, but I don't want to bore anybody with it. But anyway, flip tip, not cool.
Well, I guess one of the things is like it's the feeling that it makes you feel like you feel obligated to tip. See, I wasn't born with that gene. Yeah. So that's why I don't give a shit.
I'm not big on shame. Yeah. I don't have the shame gene.
You want this role? You're going to have to shoot me. Yeah. You know, like, no, you're not. I watched you stand here this whole entire time while I walked down this line waiting for my little Sbarro slice to come out of the oven. You didn't know.
You didn't even a tip for you. I got a tip for you.
My card. I had to do the card thing too. You know, like, no, you get nothing. No.
You go get your own drink. You go when your food's ready. So I'm just taking like this an average fast casual place. You go up to a counter, and if you don't have to order it yourself at a kiosk, someone who's standing there takes your order, beep bop boo bop, then flip the tip, whatever you choose. Then they flip it back, and then they always look, because you can tell the outward greeting that you get. If you tip, it's usually like, "Oh, have a nice day," or sometimes I'll grunt, like if it's a very social person. But when you don't tip, they don't even say nothing. And that doesn't hurt my feelings at all. You know why? Because I'm about to walk and go get my own beverage. I'm about to walk and go get my own food when it's put up in some kind of, window or something like that. I'm about to go throw my own trash away. I mean, so why am I tipping again? Goof.
Obviously, yeah.
Anyway, well.
Oh, John Bandy's like, pay cash, piss me off. I'll pay in pennies. Fight me. If somebody pisses, if there's a place around here that I do like regularly go and they piss me off, I'll do something outlandish like that.
Like Kramer did in that place where he wanted the jackets warmed up in a pizza oven.
Now, for service industry stuff, like I'm all about this. Like we were talking about before, the $2 an hour, where literally they go to the back, you give it a drink order, a meal order, need any condiments, here's your check, all that stuff. No problem. Like I've been there in college. I try to be, pretty fair when it comes to that stuff. Same thing with like haircuts or get your lawn done. Like those things, like there's actual demonstrated like physical effort, but not Cool Guy Jones literally standing in front of you and hit maybe 7 keystrokes on a POS system.
Yeah.
And then flips that sumbitch over. Come on, man. I just can't play that way. Hey, listen, George. I knew if we kept the string going long enough, we'd get into some kind of somewhere.
Restaurant drama never ends, man. I was the director of training for a group of Buffalo Wild Wings on the East Coast for a lot longer than I want to admit, and I've seen some things.
This is the new one. John Moreno is exactly right. This is the new gimmick. And if you go to McDonald's, and listen, I've done volunteer work at Ronald McDonald House. They do a great work around.
I've used them.
Right. So hats off to them. God love them. However, I've heard horror stories, and it's not McDonald's, but I've heard of other fast food and fast casuals who do this, that you get your order and it's 12.17. Hey, would you like to round up? Sure. Well, here's what happens is they take that money, they pool it, they take all the credit for the big donation and the big goofy check. But sometimes they don't give it all. That's the big rub. You got to get deep into the minutia, and it's deplorable.
That's why I round down.
Sir, I flip this back and it says I owe you money. Yeah.
Also, they don't teach math anymore in American schools, so they don't even notice until I'm way gone.
Yeah, really.
Oh, George, are you recovering? George says, "Oh, was that from this morning? Is he talking about the morning live stream?"
Yes, I'm sure.
George, did you crawl up in the fetal position, because it was a tough one. I didn't know what was going on.
I have to rewatch this thing to know what was going on.
I didn't see it.
Well,
No,
Jason,
we can talk about it.
as the star of the show, Jason, what were your takeaways and what was your experience?
Why did you get back on there? Is the thing.
Even better question. Yeah, let's just go.
I was looking for some higher love from the morning show.
Some clearly forced higher love.
That's right. It was not.
Got her by the face, man.
He's about to baby bird her. He probably chewed like a cheeseburger, and then he's about to. That's
the higher love. He's saving her life. She's
exactly.
That's his new song. Here Comes the Tongue.
Oh no.
What happened? I just wanted to discuss. Should we go on to this?
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's up to you. I mean, David asked the question, so I watched it. So
I'm just okay. So I'm just trying to answer Louis' question. So, I think it all started with Chance's, his time with the show, right? And when Chance had to again explain himself, and during that part of the show, there was something about using my name, Jason Rojas, as an adjective, which meant gently sensitive, right? So I was like, well, how could this happen? I'm more than that. I'm a human being, right? You can't just say he's pulling a Jason Rojas.
I thought it was a verb. Okay.
I thought if you got Rojas, it meant somebody got a better record than you. Because remember, we used to kid around in the early days of the stream, you just got Rojas. So in that term, I think it would be okay. But yes, to the point, because I remember, I think it was right on that stream that, however it came up, I do remember when it was an adjective. It was a little strange, but yes.
So you just went up and defended yourself?
Yep. So I went there to basically defend myself and just call it out. What do you mean by this? Why would you say this? That's just dumb, and other things which were, just kind of bothering me about the show,
How long had it been since you've been on there? I mean, months.
Probably 6 to 8 months, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Since I've been on the show. And I'm going to be, real with everyone in the chat and the peanut gallery and to our panelists. I will not show up if Rob is there. If the wax is there, that is not a safe place for me to be up there. So when he finally left, I decided to go up there, and say my piece, And I can see there was going to be some drama, let's face it. That shows, part records, part drama, part politics, and that stuff, it's either going to be fun or it's not,
Yeah.
Wow. I know how to kill your live stream, Chance.
No, I asked the question. That's exactly what I thought you were going to say. It's just it's pretty cut and dry,
Well, and I'll be honest, I wasn't sure what to expect because it was kind of a surprise for you to kind of go up there. So there was some awkwardness. I think I would say no to it. So, but I mean, whatever. But I think you said some things you wanted to say, and I think Stunty then came up there and was saying some things he wanted to say, and then
eventually Michael 45.
He came up there and
wow.
And so people were thinking this was like an OBC pre-planned.
Of course they were.
And right in the middle was Johnny L. One of the nicest guys. Johnny L. didn't know what to make of anything, but He was dead. He was dead Broadway. He was right in the middle.
Right. So him and Stefan were kind of like, what's going on
Stefan.
here? What is this history? And I was jokingly saying, you know, like to both, like, hey, Johnny L, Stefan, this is what you might, you know, this is what you missed when you were not on the show, on the Hollywood Squares, you know, like you missed that season, you know. And, you know, actually like talking to Johnny L, very nice person, very eloquent, you know, actually he's very real, you know, when he's talking and stuff, he's not playing a character or, you know, trying to show off or anything, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I was being attacked on the peanut gallery at Rachel's, you know, and it was kind of painful to see that, you know, sort of, you know, the 5-6 people just saying the same stuff. Like it was unreal, you know?
Yeah,
and that was not like, again, you know, I do think like I went on too hot on that, you know, when, and I could tell I was being a bit silly.
I mean, I can feel it because that's what I did a week or two ago. I just got tired of hearing my name talked about when I wasn't even around because I was deliberately, consciously uncoupling for a little bit. And I even told Rachel, I just, you know, in light of current events with that whole deal with Rob Walker and then the interview I did for the podcast and the kind of feedback that was getting from some certain people, I just kind of excused myself. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but I didn't watch the show. But every single day, somebody, you know, different people, just kind of send me a note and be like, hey, you know, talking whatever. And by the end of the week, or was it a Monday? I don't remember what day it was. It's just enough. Like it was just silly. I mean, it's just silly stuff because I don't have any static with anybody there in the gallery or usually on the dais. And, you know, there are some things, unfortunately, that were a little misconstrued and needed clarification, which I was happy to do. But, you know, some things were just mischaracterized. And I felt like that was unfair because I've never deliberately tried to torpedo that show or say anything negative about that show. And I felt like that show was actually turning me on my head and I didn't understand it. So I have no animus toward that show or anybody on it or.
Yeah, you get a bunch of strangers together a lot of times, you know, and it's going to be like that. I'm going to find a reason to be nice to people no matter what until they give me a solid reason not to. And then, and I'm going to stick around if it's fun. And as soon as it's not, I'm going back into the bushes.
No, it's like the Homer. Yeah, the Homer meme.
It's like, because I don't have time.
Well, and here's what I'll say, and then we can kind of wrap this up. But, you know, like, what kind of energy do you want to spend doing this stuff? Like I
want it to be a fucking blast. I want to be laughing my ass off.
I want it to be if you have a rapport with somebody and maybe zing them once in a while, I can take some zings. Don't worry.
There's a difference between buddies fucking with each other.
And complete strangers calling me a pussy. I thought that was a lot of line, but because these are things that wouldn't be said to you to your face, and that's
the keyboard equalization, right?
Right, and it is what it is. Like I'm not naive to that. It took me a minute when I started doing YouTube to kind of, you know, harden up to a little bit of that nonsense, but I got nothing against nobody. And there's one person who just can't let things go, and that's just between, you know, me and them at some point in the world. But for the most part, like I don't think of these grievances, and I don't think of this stuff. But literally every day for like a week, I was being reminded when I was trying to sit it out and just like, I don't know, move on with my life because it was a silliness. So anyway,
there's no life outside of this box.
Right. Well, no. And I think Louis, you said it earlier, when it's not fun, like why mess with it? Like, because Michael 45 made an interesting point today on the show, and that, you know, he was talking about the evolution of the VC, and then naturally it would go to people making it a business in certain areas. And he's obviously done that himself. Don't disagree with that. But then I forget who made the point, but it's like, oh yeah, and Chance has t-shirts he's selling. Like I've never sold.
I still need one.
I know. I'm sorry. The only one I had to bring with me was not the right size, so I owe you one. But I mean I mean, I've never sold like anything to anybody. Now, could that change one day?
I hope you sell 1 million of them.
Well, but the point being is like that was another thing that was a mischaracterization. That it's just like, okay, I've never sold anything to anybody. Not knocking people who do, not knocking auctions. I just never have done that. But again,
I got shit for sale. You guys want to buy this hand?
It depends. Does it come with a record on the other side?
These things are. I saw somebody did a bit with these, and it was just so great. Like they're doing close-ups of records, and they would do this with it instead of their hand.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Anyway, so I think Jason, I'm glad I think it was a good appearance. It started like you said, you came in hot, but I think that hopefully, and most importantly, hopefully you feel it was a good appearance to say things you wanted to say, and again, I don't think anything's going to necessarily change, but I think that you spoke your truth, and I think that there's value in that.
I gotta pee.
I did my best.
I'll be right back.
For sure. Well, hey Louis, I think I'm gonna wind it down. Honestly,
We'll be headed out. So.
Yeah. I think we're gonna go stage left.
I think we all got to go pee.
Yeah. We don't have Rachel's amazing bladder control. I did say that. I mean, 5-hour stream. I mean, George must have amazing bladder control. George, have you ever had?
No, he just gets up and goes.
They got a clock.
Okay. I was always curious how that worked because like I'll wake up the next morning and like George and Nick did a
Does the word catheter
mean
anything?
I'm peeing right now.
Music talk with John. That's actually a very strong move. Just rip it.
Don't drop your phone into the toilet, please.
Yeah. Just it's your mess. Nobody cares, right? Except you. But
just go, man. Just go.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming. For our panelists, it was great meeting you all in Austin.
Same here, buddy.
And really enjoyed the interaction. Really enjoyed the show. And I have a suspicion this won't be the last time we meet up. But,
great.
And then Jason's going to put his Little Richard record on and repent for his sin this morning.
Hallelujah, praise the Lord.
Anyway, so Eddie's got a great. We'll sign off with this. Eddie says this weekend was a true meaning of the VC. People hanging out who share the love of music and record collecting. Eddie,
great one.
I said it better myself. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll do Service Noise probably back to our regular schedule in like a couple of weeks. So be on the lookout for that.
All right.
Until then,
take care,
see you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. I really do have to pee.
Oh, you can. Yeah. Sorry, my mouse is gross.
See ya.
See ya.